157 or 160 yards, I will hit that at probably 0.50 rotation speed, 0.60. Just setting up, and I'm just how fast do I rotate? Just like this. And what makes the golf swing look so smooth is the three-dimensional space is not being disturbed. Okay, next. Right.
You want to know about the hands.
Okay.
He had the question about the hands.
Breaking early. Okay.
For example, we've been taught for so long, we've told
All right,
one piece.
One piece, right.
All right. First thing is about when you're dealing with the grip. We all basically put the club shaft in our right palm, and the other palm with the fingertips. The base we call the phalanges.
Do it at them over there.
Okay. In the right hand. But the thing is, in the left hand, it's got to be in the almost the same position in the left hand. It doesn't go across the palm. It must be in the fingers. So for you to be able to cock the wrist quickly from sections 1 into 2 like this as such, if you get it in the palm of the hand as such like this, the only way you can get the club shaft section 2 like section 2, you have to start bending the wrist in the opposite direction. This is called palmar flexion. And it's too difficult on the wrist and everything else. So, that old square teaching method.
Well, you either buy that or you buy this. One of the two. Another thing he's doing, I'll stand aside of what he's doing. The majority of you will make the mistake of putting your hands very high. Yeah. I mean, I've always been taught the higher you put your hands, the more you slice it. The lower you put them, the more you draw it, okay? After talking with Mac and understanding more what he does, watch where he puts his hands. His hands are set down here. The reason he sets it there is these two joints, he's already talked about the 13 joints. These two joints here, when he gets to 6, you can release it into 8, the hands are down. Hands up here, you got no chance. No power and no chance. Now watch, let him do it again, because I want you to watch what he sets. You can see how close it is to his legs.
I make it the chart on the shoulder's chart. The side pocket.
Stand there.
Your chart?
I mean, they're very close to his body. He has long arms, I have a hunch, but they're still very close and they're down. Okay? Because you want to release from this 6 through 8. All right.
Close there. See, this is a.
We're only reading the first 12 pages.
This is a computer readout of the
checklist.
What every joint is doing all the way through the 10 sections. Okay? And when we write the book, as far as the instructional book, there'll be a curriculum for each one of the handicaps, 30 to 20 handicaps, 20 to 12, 12 to 5, 5 to 0, 0 plus 6. Also, this is explaining the geometry of what goes on each section of the swing of all the joints. Then there'll also be another page next to it to explain how do you put yourself in these positions. Each of the 5 books is only 20 pages. That's it. So the guy's 0 plus 6 handicap, that's only 20 pages. That's it. Nothing else. And if you're a 30 to 20 handicap, you probably have 1/4 of this page. And so one of the first things here we go down, we talked about the club selection. We're going to do a driver here, type of grip to use to hit the bars overlap. The hands of the club shaft, the helping fingers of both hands. And then we talked about the left hand grip, and then we talked about the left arm and right arm. One of the things you have to do here is that the arms have to hang, why don't you step to the ball here? The arms have to hang vertical, actually almost vertical to the ground here at the dress position. If you, as Dave was saying, if you get your hands too far away from the body, the left wrist has a tendency to start uncocking. And one of the problems you get into when the left wrist gets too uncocked is that the tendency is to have too much forearm rotation. And if there is a secret to the golf swing, you want to try to eliminate all forearm rotation. That's one of the reasons why, if you look at the dress position, the left-hand grip for all 3 of us is that hey, Johnny, you brought that up. Good.
I carry it.
Watch this. You do not want to be playing with a flat left wrist. You do not. Absolutely forbidden. If you have a flat left wrist, especially if it goes up into the palm, the tendency when you go from sections 1 into 2, you get too much forearm rotation. This club face, if it's square here or dress, when you go to section 2, it's already rotated maybe 110 degrees. And if the right hand gets up a little bit on top, like Hogan advocated in his book, you go from sections 1 to 2 like this, the club face rotates 145 degrees here, 135 degrees. So you want to get the club shaft in your fingers, your left hand and right hand, but then also your left hand must turn over 45 degrees. So when you go from sections 1 to section 2, this hand will only rotate 45 degrees right here. If you have your left hand too far under, then now it's got to rotate 90 degrees. Then the forearm's got to rotate 90 degrees. That's much too complicated. You're actually already pre-suppinating, already presetting your left hand turned over and your left forearm turns over. So you can go from sections 1 to section 2 very easily. And also the left wrist at address here, it's bent. The left wrist can move to the left 80 degrees. It's bent at about 45 degrees.
Jack, what do you think about on takeaway, though? Do you think hands first, or is
Yeah, it's all done through the right elbow. When you go from sections 1 to 2, let me take this foot off. Scotty, you're a good helper.
But see, the old swing, when you go 1 to what would have been 2, you're out here away from it. Okay, watch him in 2, and he's supposed to be right here.
Now the right elbow at address, if you notice, it's bent. Straight's 180 degrees, it's bent about 5 degrees. When I go from sections 1 into 2, in section 2, my right elbow is bent at least 20 to 25 degrees right here. Okay? The old system where everybody would get over here and just have the right elbow fly away, and I'm almost at section 3, and the forearms haven't moved, the hands haven't moved. All of a sudden in section 3, bang, everything rotates very quickly. And as you go up, and then you got to come back on down, then have the forearms rotate almost 90 degrees. That's why the average guy slices terribly. So this whole system is set up so that you can go from sections 1 into 2. See my right elbow? It comes right in towards my rib cage right away. Section 2, it's bent 20 degrees. Section 3, my right elbow is bent almost 70 degrees. I go to the top. Section 3.
Now, stay there a second. One thing he showed me that was interesting the first time we worked, he walked up to me and almost killed me. He says, don't only put your hands up. So I'm pushing like crazy. Now, don't only put them down. The power he's got in here, that's what you want to feel when you get in this position 3. Well, I've never felt that in my entire life. You probably saw me hit a couple of balls there where I was going up here to section 3 and staying here. Then hitting the ball the first few times was disaster. But after I got the feeling of it and the power of it, you're just coiled. You're connected. Completely different than the other. I'd like to back one thing. One thing that really made a lot of sense to me is this. If you've ever watched an ice skater, in the Olympics, let's say, that goes into a power spin, how do they do it? They put their arms just like this, don't they? Okay, to slow down, what do? They put their arms out. Right? Stop. They put farther out, they stop, right? Okay, what you want to do then for them is to get connected. What he is showing you here, and what I think is so awesome about it, for those of us that work in head swings that aren't terrific balance, like you watch Mac, it's going to be perfect balance every time. You know, you go to move and everything, everything's disconnected. You can't feel where the hands are, you can't feel where the club is. They're trying to teach you how much you turn, don't sway, all this other stuff, okay? One of the exercises he had me do is put my hands on my side like this and bend over. Turn back like I was taking a backswing, and then go to the hole. Right here, okay? You try that connected to your body like this with the upper part of your arms versus putting your arms out here away from you, and then try it. I can feel myself, everything jerking back in here, whereas in this, everything transfers right on through, okay? Very, very connected. Your question about the hands, 1 to 2, 2 people that did it that I know of, Johnny Miller and Nancy Lopez. And I watched Miller, I thought I was stupid. I'd never seen anybody do that before. Now we're talking 12 years ago or something, right? You watch almost any of the ones now, it's incredible the ones doing it, because it's literally the last move you have to make. If you listen to him very carefully, when he makes this move here, that's it. Go ahead and do it again. Now, I mean, he's made this break to 2. Now watch, it'll just stay there.
Just turn it around the center all the way in.
Doesn't change.
You come right back on down, right back
now
to
the right straight.
That's the cervical force throws. This is where the hips take over. That's the cervical force will throw the club out from section 6 to 7. Then the hips have to be taken over and taken over to section 8. See how the arms and everything is?
Wouldn't there be a tendency to throw the club hit right down into the ground?
If you do what?
You rotate the body. With the hands. You know, that's what I just sense. I throw it into the ground. How do you prevent that? Okay,
you better get over here. I've watched you play. You better go here and learn something. Ain't gonna help you hitting any.
When you go from sections 1 to 2, you're basically trying to control the radius of the club head. From this point, sections 1 to 2, like this. And your feel is almost as if you're going to take it right back on the same trajectory right again, come right back on down the golf ball. It's so much more difficult to take the club real wide like this, then take it up, and then get another stretch and feel coming out.
That's the opposite end.
The backswing is almost neurological with the muscles are exactly.
What he's saying, Mac, what he's asking about this centrifugal force, the whole idea of staying within your three-dimensional area is why it won't go. Unless you cast it, as he talked about with the club being back there, unless you're going out there and separating here, that's the only time you would get there. But when he gets in that angle, now he's just moving around. It's like sticking the club in the middle of your body and turning your body. It follows your body.
See,
so you're basically just using the hips as he's in for his power.
What he's saying to on this chart, we show that where the left arm of the club shaft is in the dress position. If I have a driver, I'll show you here. When the arms, as Dave was saying earlier about the reason why you want your arms to hang vertical here, because if the arms get out away from the body, the club gets heavier and heavier. Here a golf club weighs 1 pound, now it weighs 4 pounds. Here it weighs 6, now it weighs 10. How many pounds do you weigh?
160.
If he's close, I can pick him up. If he's out here, I can't do it now. And one of the problems you run into with when you get your arms too far away from your body is that you notice that my left hand right here is level. It's not uncocked or it's not cocked. It's just a level position. And this angle from the club shaft to the left arm is at 135 degrees. There's 180, there's 90, and it's half of that's 135. When I go from sections 1 to 2, the right elbow bends. I take it to section 2 right here. Now the angle is 100 degrees. There's 90, there's instead of 100 degrees. As I go up to section 3, bang, right here, now it's 90 degrees. It stays at 90 degrees. Okay. Section 4, it stays 90 degrees. Here at the top of my swing, if I put a club shaft across my knees, it's bent about 20 degrees at the top of my swing. My hips have turned 45, my shoulders have turned 90. Left arm of the club shaft 90 degrees. My right forearm, the right humerus bone is 90 degrees also. So this is very checking. The other thing is at the top of the swing, I put a dime underneath my armpit. This has to be, I can still keep this dime in here. At the top of my swing, my elbow goes from 4 to 5 inches away, so it keeps my left arm at the 20 to 30 degree angle. At this point I can go all the way around, and the right arm must stay tight into the body here. So once I get to section 4, as I go from section 4 down to section 5, the elbow comes back close to the body. I'll go right back down to section 6. I'll move from here, I'm over to 7. And then at this point in section 6, this is when the hip stay over and goes right through section 8 all the way around. I must stay tilted as such.
I'd worked with him for a couple of months, go to 6. He walks up to me at the route. This dime was still there. He goes, oh, it's still there. He goes to station 6 and he walks up to me. He loves to do this. He doesn't know how strong he is. He's going, don't move. He hit me like this, right? He said to me, okay, now in this position, stop your arms. I looked at him like he's crazy. Every one of you sitting here is going to get about this position. This is how you're going to slice the ball, Dave. You're going to get somewhere in here. Everything's going to lock up, and you're going to go like that, right? So he's hitting me. He said, stop your arms. I'm thinking he's crazy. Well, what are you talking about? He said, well, how can you get the club head going and generate club head speed if the arms keep going? It'd be like a baseball player hitting one foul into the right field seat so they never released. I mean, nothing turned over or anything. Not that you have to turn your hands this way or anything, but it's a matter of getting here. And he's talking 6 being here, 7 being here. The arms didn't go anywhere.
Just the hands move forward.
Just hands move forward, okay? So grab a 5-iron. I want you to hit something. This talking's fine, but I want them to see you hit something.
Okay.
Mac, when you said something about the grip and in the fingers 45 degrees, where is your thumb in relationship to the top of the
It's turned a little bit.
You still got it? He probably does.
And the right hand is rotated 20
But he gave us all quarters. I mean, we found out what it was before.
You rotate your right hand about 20 degrees.
Move your right.
The point David's making up there is that, again, if we set up to the ball, if we go to hit it, you know, what do I think about when I'm at the top of my swing? First thing is that once I'm ready to go on the downswing, my shoulders will accelerate from section. Remember, my shoulders have turned 90 degrees. My hips are 45. My knees have moved about 20 degrees. It's almost a half ratio. If I go to the top of my swing, and if I go from section 4 to section 5 right here, that's all the acceleration I have in my shoulders. shoulders have to uncoil first. Once this goes from section 4 to 90 degrees, there's only about 70, I've lost about 70 degrees in my shoulders from section 5, but my arms accelerate from section 4 to 6. And the moment my arms get to section 6, they almost decelerate. Once I get at section 6 here, that centrifugal force is going to throw the club head out towards section 7, and all I'm going to do is take the arms and everything over like this, that the body stays tilted. Don't disturb the balance.
Weight shift at all?
What?
You relate this to weight shift at all?
No, just trying to coil around. The only weight shift that goes on is there's the center of gravity of the wheel that moves 4 inches, but it's so minimal. Okay? Because the problem with, here's another point I'll bring up here. Now watch this. You know, there's a ratio here. I wish we really had maybe 2 hours, because then we could really go into detail every joint and break it down and explain it to you. The stance is going to be about maybe 16 inches wide, that's all. If I get my stance too wide, Dave, could you come over with the club? And Mark, why don't you bring a club too? Okay. This is one of Johnny Bench's problems. He doesn't know this yet. I never said it to him. Okay. When the stance gets too wide here, this is about 18 inches, about 9 inches on each side here. Is that when I go to the top, once you put a club shaft here, stand behind me, put the club shaft right here. These guys don't know it. I've never explained this to them. When you go to the top of your swing as such, okay, my stance is this wide, okay, what happens is that when you go from sections 4 to 5, and you come all the way down to 6, and I'm going to shift the center of gravity over to the inside like this, the hip will move too far. It's about 8 to 9 inches, okay? It's moving from the middle here, 8 to 9 inches over to the left side of the foot. And it's so hard to time that with the hips that they're sliding, and then my upper body's rotating forward, okay? You cannot have that real long slide and then try to rotate forward as such. This is why the width of the stance is going to affect how much the hips move. And then once the hips slide over the 4 inches, then it's just, the golf swing's over with. So if I take my normal stance here, okay, say put it a quarter of an inch away, okay? Now watch how my right hip here, it will rotate. Mark, why don't you stand over here and put a club shaft? If I go sections, no, Dave, your club's got to stay there too. Okay? Sure. And a punch. Here we go. If I go sections 1 into 2, my hips will rotate about 10 degrees. If I go up to section 3, it goes about 45 degrees. See how this space is increasing? Okay. Now, once I get to section 4 at the top, okay, get another club shaft?
Yeah.
John, you want to put one here?
Where do you want to take it? Where do you want to take it?
Right here, quarter inch away.
Yeah.
Now, then when I throw my downswing, I go sections 4 to 5, over to 6, this still keeps increasing. Okay? One of the things, this is why this right knee cannot change. Because I can't let myself go in this space here, because if I do, the balance centers right away will kick in there, try to rewrite yourself right back up again. It's like trying to shoot a missile with an earthquake going on below the launch pad. So, again, I'm going to go sections 1 into 2 here. The right knee stays the same, 2 up to 3. Then I go up to 4. Now, once I'm at section 4, one thing has to happen, my right hip's got to move 2 inches. That's it, it's over with. Then I just go rotate around, stop. Just so.
Well, I want you to try to talk.
So.
Just hit them. No, I want you to just hit about 3 5-iron for it.
Okay.
What rotation?
About 70.
Yeah, that's it.
What iron's that now?
5 iron.
How far?
That's going 180.
Okay. How about 195?
This double. Good. Yeah.
170?
Okay.
Now that he's warmed up, this is his pet club. Remember that?
Good.
Now this is my right-handed 3-iron. If you doesn't think this is any good, this can wake you up.
McCord
You just
was
switch
responsible for this one. You all know
switch
Gary.
gloves when you do this, man.
This is, again, this right-handed technique, again, you go sections 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4.
I was kidding when I was asking who's going to do the left-handed
4
part,
to
right?
5, down to 6, down to 7, over to 8, up to 9. Okay.
Any of you who tried to hit a right-handed 3-iron left-handed, most of you have enough trouble hitting it right-handed, right? Exactly. Well, that ball.
How about a left-handed driver?
That was a left-handed driver. Anybody hit it with a left-handed club. I'm just impressed that he can hit a right-handed club left-handed. There we go.
Okay, let's all hit some drivers.
No. I want you to hit them. No? We'll hit them in a minute, but I want you to hit some first. Okay.
Aim right.
Yeah.
That's correct. Where the bunker?
Yeah, those 3 palm trees.
Okay.
We were standing at La Quinta Hotel last year for the Bob Hope. Go ahead. You can't hear me anyway.
Not that I can't hear my brain.
It's a strange situation. Mac has about 40% hearing in one ear, and people don't know that, they think he's aloof, but he really doesn't hear well, honestly. And so we kid him about it, but at the same time, it's part of his character. And it's just as well, you're right. But we're standing at the La Quinta Hotel, and I'm driving balls on the range, and my caddy said, hit it over the wall down at the end, and I don't know how many played at the country club, but you know how far the wall is. And I can just get it to the wall or bounce it up the wall. I said, I can't hit it over, Mac can't. And Raymond, Floyd, and Arnold are standing there, and they're saying, no way. And I said, yeah, that's no problem for him. And so I said, Mac, he hit 2 balls, so he was really warm. And I said, hit it over the wall. So he takes the ball out, just puts it up, and he does this little left to right shot, and just takes it and cruises it right over the road and the wall over the other time. So the amazing thing is how far he really hits it.
Go ahead, let it
go. Let me say one point here. Thank you, John. Folks, when I was 20 years old, I was a pretty good player. I mean, I could shoot 65, and a lot of them, of course, in L.A. And my first sponsors, a bunch of the guys in Hollywood, and one of the teachers changed my swing to start swinging like Nicklaus and give real upright. I found myself within a year, it was very difficult for me to break 75. 2 years later, and this was 1974, I had trouble breaking 80. I went to Japan in 76 and played on the Japanese tour for, I think I played 14 tournaments. I broke 80 once. I never made a cut, 14 tournaments. I came back. I kept trying to qualify in school. Then in September of 77, I tried down at Torrey Pines. I shot 72 the first day. I had, I think, 17 putts. And then the next 3 rounds, I never broke 80. And I quit playing right-handed, then started playing left-handed. Okay, true. I mean, the funny thing about it was I could not hit a driver 200 yards because I'd gotten to a real weak left-hand grip, right-hand grip, and was taking it really upright like this, like Nicklaus, and I would just come over and slice it. And I was bringing my head up, and I had the club in my palm, too much forearm rotation, everything like this. And I was a strong kid. I mean, I was riding my bicycle from LA to San Diego once a week, but I lost my mechanics. And but then once I studied this book called The Golf Machine, I was able to get back in contact a little bit more and started getting my power back. And, but it's really a strange phenomenon to lose it. I mean, absolutely, literally lose it, then die psychologically, and then kind of get it back again. And our whole perspective is to try to, if there are some mysteries and myths to this game, if somebody does have an objective question, to try to get some objective answers. And this is why we've done the research on science. And okay, I'm going to hit a couple of drivers here, and again, there's let me tell you what I think about when I hit this shot. The first thing again is to go through all the 10 sections, but once you get in section 4, if you're the golf ball here, and let's say this gentleman's the golf ball right here, why don't you put your finger on it? Okay. If that's the golf ball, now watch my eyes here, because some of you folks here can see this. Is that as I go to the top of my swing, you see how my eyes are rotating left in their sockets. Well, on the downswing, the eyes will square back up again. And then as I come through, the eyes have to move back in their sockets. And this is one of the reasons why when you sit up at a dress, you cannot be coming up like this. Now the eyes got to shift and move back on down. The eyes have to stay stationary. So when I'm set up, I'm going to hit this shot here. Once I go at the top of my swing as such, my prime concern is that my arms will accelerate to section 6 here, then the hips will take over, bang, and I've got to stay tilted. So So there's actually two tilts in the swing. There's one forward and the downswing. When the hips slide over, the upper body tilts to the right, and then I just rotate around it. So I'm going to think about keeping my shoulders tilted in the follow through, and we'll hit this little baby. One of the one of the fun aspects has been to do this research and have to field test it in the competition and saw that it worked for me, and especially when you get kicked around, you get beaten by the game, and then all of a sudden something's right. Now what is right? It's doing some good research, getting some good answers, applying it, and then you find out in the competition it works. Okay, one more. Another aspect you notice here is that we're all going to hit some balls together is never lose your balance. Because none of the joints are getting out of position so that you can lose your balance. So the unconscious motor memory systems just take over throughout the whole swing cycle. Okay, now this one I'm going to widen my stance just a little bit, and I'm going to hit this as hard as I can, and concentrate on keeping my shoulders tilted at the follow through.
Is that your 70? Is that the biasteros?
Yeah. Are your hands
Okay, let's all hit some drivers together. Where did Dave
Are you
go?
kidding me?
What?
I wouldn't hit after that.
No, but what I want to do here is just take 2 more minutes. Come on, take a driver. I just want to go through the various sections again.
Consciously with alignment? With the swing is open or close your stance, or do you have
yeah, you have to set up a little bit open. If I'm going to draw the ball or fade the ball or try to hit it straight, there's one joint that has to be hit. 21. You know, we figured this out, I couldn't believe the draws, the fades, and everything else. It's consciously being active with one joint, it's in the right elbow. There's 3 elbow positions you can get into. And if there is a secret to the golf swing, it's in the right elbow. If the right elbow goes out, the hands turn over, you can draw the ball very easily. You come down to the release point, cut it. The elbow is here, the right elbow is probably about here, the right elbow is all the way down about 2 inches. Section 4, here's the fade shot, here's the straight shot, then there's the draw shot, the right elbow's off. You don't try to